Hey guys, this is Chesney Hawks here. You are watching My Hammers 11 with the one and only Russ.
Yes, everybody, Russ, the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well. When we put Chesney on, you know we're going to have a good show. We know have a good show. If you're new around here, thanks for joining us. We've had a load of new people recently. Maybe it's a renewed sense of optimism having signed one player in 6 weeks. But for those of you new to show, what we do on a semi-regular basis is it's a series called My Hammers 11 where we interview fans, celebrity fans, ex-players. In fact, keep an eye on the channel. I've got coming up in a couple of weeks. We've got some good ex-players coming up, but we've got a very good one, a very scary Czech right back, former who never scored a goal, and it's not Soufal, it's the other one. So I'm shitting myself by that one. But anyway, we've got a comedian coming on. We've had quite a few. Mark Simmons on and Trevor. Now Liam's been on. I mean, he's been on TalkSport. He's been on like the actual West Ham website as well. But this is it. He's made it. He's made it to the West Ham Network. Liam, how are we doing, man?
Yeah, very good. This is the one. This is what it's all been about.
It's. I mean, when you've got Chesney Hawks introducing it, that's it. Mate. You're done.
I love seeing his little face pop up on these. It puts me in such a good mood.
He's funny, you know. He's fun. I love Chesney. He's such a nice guy as well. He's always really weird things, you know. I know you went to uni, I went to uni, and it's sort of one of those. I don't know. He's like a Pat Sharp, Chesney Hawks. It's sort of that era.
And when you sort of Freshers Week cheese, yeah. Love it.
Yeah, comes on, wants to play all his new album. No, one and only. Come on.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're coming up to Edinburgh Fringe, and you're obviously based up in Scotland. Things must be ramping up for you coming up now, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, it kicks off 28th of July. So what's that? It's what's the date? Oh my God,
we've got like a week, 11 days,
11 days or something like that until it all starts. So then, for the whole, I mean, for the festival, every broom cupboard in Edinburgh becomes a venue, and about 1 million people arrive in the city. And if you're a performer, you do a show every day, at least one. Like, so you'll do your main show every day, and then you're normally running about doing little guest spots on other little gigs throughout the day. You do 3 or 4 gigs a day for a month, so it's pretty intense, and it always means that the start of the season I have trouble catching the first few games because I'm running around, and so it always means I miss 1 or 2 games at the top of the season. It's not really September until I get started watching the Hammers properly.
Yeah, well, we got a new manager in charge by then. If everything fucks up in the first month, innit?
No, I remember I was speaking to a mate of mine who he works at Channel 4 Clang, and he's a Hammer. And I remember a couple of years ago, it was about this time I was feeling really good about the next season. I think we just signed Paquetá, and I thought this could be a really good year. And he said to me, with West Ham, you can never write off a relegation battle, no matter how good you feel. And he was right. It did end up being a real slog the first half of that season. So, but it's always when I'm feeling bleak that it actually turns out all right. And at the moment, I'm feeling pretty bleak. So I think that might be good.
That's it. We're winning the league. That's it. Exclusive on the West Ham Network. No, do you know what? It was actually, I think it was this week. I started to get the new season tingle. I don't know what it was. Maybe because we signed a player.
Yeah,
the shirts, exactly. We've got the shirts out. They've gone. The kit. They're out in Germany now. They play the first pre-season on Saturday, and you start getting that little. Oh, actually, you say right, end of season. That's it. It's shit. And then you sort of like that renewed West Ham optimism. It's just sort of crept in a little bit for me the last few days.
It's I don't know. Hope that kills you, isn't it?
It is. But that's proverbially what being a West Ham fan is all about. I mean, it's been funny recently. We've on fuck all. So, but we still think, we still wake up on that first game. Right, that's it. This is our year. Our name on the cup. All that type of stuff.
My toxic trait is every year I put a tenner on us to win the league. I know it's a waste of money, but especially since Leicester did it, it's like, well, if we did and I didn't have a tenner on, I'd never forgive myself. So I just donate £10 to a betting company once a year.
Should do it. Boyle Sport, our new shirt sponsor.
yeah, I'll set up an account.
Yeah, set of account. Only for 1 year though. So I mean, how does it? I mean, as I was saying just before we started, it's one of those things where I've always wanted to go, and I never really. I don't know what as you said, it just. I always forget, not forget, it's the wrong expression, but things, and you go, shit, it's a Fringe. And then by then, everything's sold out. All the tickets are ridiculous in terms of getting up there from London or Essex. What is, for anyone new to it, obviously, everyone knows of the Fringe, but as you said, it's just like a
imagine
month-long just craziness.
Yeah, a whole city being taken over by artists. So it's the comedy festival's the biggest one. So every comedian you like and that you've heard of has done the Fringe at some point. All the ones that are on TV, they've done the Fringe, and there will be comics that you've heard of and know who are doing it this year. And there'll be the ones that you haven't heard of yet, who within a couple of years are going to be sort of the main guys on TV. They're all there. So if you like comedy, it's the best place in the world to go, because you can see 2 or 3 different shows a day, all different types of people. There's other festivals as well. There's theatre, and there's dance, and there's circus, and there's all different types of stuff. But being a comedian, obviously the comedy aspect of it is my side of it, and it lasts the whole month. And you take a show up. So I'll start work on a new show in sort of January-ish. That's how long it takes really to. You go try it out at little clubs, little bits here, little bits there, and then you put them all together and make a show. So that's it's been a long time coming. It's like the end of school year is how it feels. You do it for the month, you get your results, and then you have a bit of a break and try, maybe come back next year, maybe take a year off. But if no one's ever been, I'll recommend probably about Christmas. You want to sit down and go, right, this is the year we're going to go, and then book yourself just like a couple days, a weekend if you have to. But honestly, better to go like on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's a little bit quieter, not as mental. Come up, just get loads of beers in, go see loads of shows, and just have a bloody laugh.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've played a wrong one this year. I played a wrong one in terms of organising school holidays and
next year,
and which makes perfect sense, because I was, if anyone obviously knows the channel, Anton lives in Troon. I was going to go up and see him, and I was wondering why all the flights were so fucking expensive to like Glasgow. And now I fucking idiot, button, such an idiot. And obviously you live in Scotland now, don't you?
Yeah. So I live in Edinburgh. There's a window just there, and about a minute from my front window is the Hibs Stadium. So they're my local team, so to speak. Like, when I'm pretty close, when they score, my living room shakes. But
really,
that did take a while to find out. They've they've had a tough few years. So yeah, I've been here for 18 years now. I'm from Dagenham, good West Ham area. But yeah, I moved here for uni when I was 18 and just sort of stuck about ever since.
Yeah, which explains obviously the accent, but also explains West Ham, as you said. In terms of, I know you're and actually, guys, honestly, I'm gonna put a link to it. You've got your stand-up routine is on stand-up.
The new special.
Yeah, it's
on
brilliant.
YouTube.
I watched it. It's
thanks,
brilliant.
Mate. Cheers. Yeah. So we recorded that in Edinburgh last December. That was basically, I just decided to sit and go through all of my old material and choose all my favorite jokes and just get it recorded really nicely in a nice club, filmed looking really good, and put it on YouTube for free. That way, if anyone just wants to have it, like, before you go and buy tickets to see someone, especially a comedian, you're worried, what if they're not very funny, or what if I don't like them, or what if they're offensive, or what if they talk about this stuff. You can just go have a look. It's an hour, it's free, it's a good, I think it's a good special. I'm really proud of it, and it's doing pretty well at the moment as well. We've got quite a lot of people have looked at it, so yeah, that's been fun.
It's banging. I'm going to put a link in the description, because honestly, it's really good, and actually it's free, but it is really fucking funny. It is really funny. In terms of like last season, bit shit, weren't it? Last season,
it just I had that feeling last summer, that pre-season, like, because we'd spent loads of money, and any player coming in, I get excited about.
Yeah.
it's very rare that we're by someone and I go, oh, I'm not that. Do you know what I mean? I'm so excited. And we had this coach who there was a couple sort of question marks, but I was like ready to back Lopetegui 100%. He's the manager. And then after watching 10 or 12 games, I was just like, I don't know what the plan is here. I don't know what the project is.
No.
It looks like there's no identity. Like, I can take losing a few games during a transition year.
Yeah.
If it looks like we're working towards something. Do you know what I mean? Which is what Moyes had, and a few times. Whenever with Moyes, if it went off a bit, you could still kind of say, okay, but that's the plan. And it was towards the end where the plan sort of started to disappear a bit, and I think that's where he lost a lot of support. But with Lopetegui, it just never really kicked off. I was pleased with Potter coming in because I do feel like, even though he lost, I think maybe as many games as Lopetegui, it did feel like, okay, but I can see what the long-term strategy is here. I can see what the plan is. And so now, hopefully, with a pre-season, with getting some of the players that can work the system that he wants, then I'm hoping now we get a really good run of like, this is it. So even if we finish 12th or something like that, if at the end of the season, I'm like, but I see what the long-term strategy is, then that's better than where we were a year ago.
Yeah, I was talking to my brother yesterday about it, and he was saying, if we finish 12th or whatever, and you see someone like George Earthy get a decent run of games, Freddie Potts, some of the academy boys going through, as you saw, he said, you could see what's happening. I think that's like a bit of a safety net. I think, I think the Potter, the first thing he did was bringing Ollie Scars straight into the side, and he's like, do you know what? You're on to a winner. He wasn't going to get relegated. It was an easy win for him. It was an open goal, really. But it's going to be fascinating to see. And I mean, the lad Diouf, Wingnut, as I called him, because he's got massive ears. Someone so fast, I think if he pinned them back a bit.
More aerodynamic.
Exactly. I mean, you've got the cyclists with their helmets.
Poor bastard. He just moved to the UK, and we're talking about his bloody ears. He's 20 years old.
But isn't that a British thing, though? Isn't it such a Brit? Oh yeah, good lad, but Wingnut. First thing you would do as a West Ham fan is you pick something not wrong with them, but something distinguishable and give them. It's like my mate Ginger.
I would like to distance myself from Russ's negative comments about our new Senegalese player. I think he looks fantastic.
My mate Ginger Nil. I've only got one friend called Nil.
Yeah,
but we call him Ginger Nil, and he's bald now.
Being Ginger's a bit different, I mean, you do.
Okay, but yeah. No, I'm really up for Diouf. I think he looks really good, and I think if we can get him on the left, what Wan-Bissaka was like on the right.
Yeah, I mean, it was that classic. I'd never heard of him. I didn't know his name. I wouldn't have been able to point him out, but we signed him. I watched a 5-minute YouTube compilation with terrible drum and bass music, and now I'm convinced that he's going to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah. Well, he said it was quite funny. He did like a video. There's like that sort of video they do on TikTok where they walk behind him and they ask questions. And one of the questions was, which team are you looking forward to facing? And he went, Everton. What? Everton?
He's just excited about the new stadium.
Yeah, maybe he's a big fan of the Docks, and he just Liverpool Docks. And then he said, "Oh, what are you looking forward to?" I'm looking forward to coming here and winning titles.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, mate. Maybe he's got a tenner on.
Maybe he has. You're quids in this year, Liam. If you put it in, I know sort of. I think I know the answer, but why West Ham? Was it just an area family thing?
It was. I mean, my dad is Irish, right? And he supported West Ham. He lived in the west coast of Ireland, and he chose West Ham, which I think is mad because everyone else in his family chose Liverpool or whatever, whoever was big at the time. And but he saw that West Ham won the World Cup and realised that they must be the best team in the world. So he supported them then, and then he moved to London and ended up moving to Dagenham. Married a girl from Dagenham who was in a West Ham family as well. He had season tickets. One of their first dates was they went to Upton Park. Very romantic man. And then we were born, and he told us, you can support whatever team you like, okay? And all my mates at school, when I was like 6 or 7, they all supported Arsenal and Man United. And I said, I can support anyone. He said, yeah, but if you support anyone apart from West Ham, you have to sleep in the shed.
Yeah.
And I believe that, and so that was the choice was made for me basically. But I wouldn't have it any other way because that meant
No.
we could go to the games. I mean, I always thought that if the guys at my school who supported your Man United, they probably a lot of them still have never seen them play live. Whereas we got taken to kids for £1 from a young age. And then when I was maybe 13, 14, I got my first season ticket. So I loved it being the nearest ground. And there's so many Hammers in Dagenham as well. A lot of the kids at school were also Hammers. A lot of my mates to this day, group chats of schoolmates that are just about West Ham basically. So I always loved that camaraderie aspect of it as well.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things. I remember my daughter saying to me once, "Daddy, I think it was last year or the year before, why do you support West Ham? They always lose."
It's a good question.
I said, it's character building. You know what I mean? It's like, that's why we took that third-rate European trophy and literally thought it was the World Cup, the new World Cup. That's why we loved it, because we never do anything. So we win something, we sort of, blasé Man City winning the League Cup every year.
It means more.
Yeah,
I always said it was character building, but then after a while, I do think I've got enough character now.
yeah. Can we win some stuff, guys?
Yeah.
Come on, move it along. No, and it is true. It is true. As a comedian, obviously, weekends are obviously mental for you. So it must be tricky to get, particularly in Scotland as well now, getting to games. Really, it must be really tricky for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, whenever I look at my diary, whenever I'm booking stuff in, if I'm gigging in London, then I'll try and do it on a weekend where I can go to the London Stadium. I was really unlucky last year. I only got to one game last year because the 2 or 3 other times I'd booked London gigs in around West Ham games, and then they got moved for TV. So then they clashed with a gig or whatever. So I couldn't make them. I occasionally get to away games, just if it syncs up. So Newcastle is the closest ground to me.
Anton,
Yeah, so I've been there a couple of times, and sometimes I'll be gigging in Manchester, and just by dumb luck we're playing City or United, but then you have to just scramble to get the ticket. But so I reckon last year I only got to one game, which is really disappointing. The year before I think I got to 3 or 4, and yeah, so we'll see this year. Hopefully a couple more than that. I know there's a couple of weekends in London already that I'm going to be in town, so might make it, but I do a lot of watching on my own with my dog.
Oh, that's the thing. I mean, we've had like Mark Simmons on and people, and he's the same. He's like, literally, I probably got to about, and he lives like next door to the stadium practically.
Yeah,
and even he doesn't go to too many, and we just we'll randomly cross at that bridge because he'll be going and I'll be coming into the ground. We'll see each other, but yeah, like we've had a lot of people who are musicians and stuff. It's tricky. It's tricky because it's your passion, but that's your job and pays the bills to watch the telly, to watch the press. The trouble is sort of like halfway house, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I've watched a lot of games on my tablet in travel lodges on my own in bleak parts of the country.
Yeah. We've all done that. We've all done that. Yeah, or on holiday or on some dodgy feed, or you go to America, it's just like on the normal telly, no problem at all.
Well, I sometimes do comedy on cruise ships. I do cruise gigs, and all the TVs there, they have all the Premier League games. So it's easier for me to watch a 3 o'clock kickoff sitting on a cruise ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean than it is like if I was sitting in a house in Dagenham.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense whatsoever. But no, I know. I remember watching, I think it was like the Boxing Day game in like our hotel in Disney, and it was like 10 o'clock in the morning or something ridiculous like that. And my wife's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Watching us probably lose."
But it's on telly. It's so easy to watch. Yeah,
and I haven't got a buffer in. I haven't got some dodgy foreign commentary or having to press all the ads on your phone to get through to it. It's like
Mickey Mouse can wait.
He can, Donald, do one. So, growing up, who were your like your West Ham sort of idols? Who are the ones you looked up to as players?
So the first player, I was young, but the first player that was like cult hero that everybody in my family just loved was Paolo Di Canio.
Yeah.
I was, I was youngish. I would have been, I don't know, 8 or something maybe when he was playing at his peak. So that was the first. He was the first one where he was mad, but incredible, and like he had this great passion and all these incidents. The catching the ball, pushing over the ref, being so dramatic all the time. He was just such a character, and everybody loved him. So I remember him. I remember my dad loving Julian Dix. And such a hard man, and the way he used to take penalties and all that. So I remember him as well. When I started going regularly, when I had a season ticket, my first season ticket was the first year we were in the championship. So players of that era, your Matty Etheringtons and your Bobby Zamoras and guys like that, they're like the core memory, watching them week in, week out players.
Yeah. And I think that was probably, obviously we've had probably about over 100 players on the channel. And that's probably, I think that core, sort of the Colton Cole era, I think that was probably the last era when I think footballers were like properly relatable. Because it seems like nowadays, it's like people we interview, I mean, I used to live in Loughton, just sort of Essex, London, Essex. It's not London, Russ, don't pretend. And we lived it's about 20 minutes away from Chadwell Heath, and you'd had the likes of, as I said, Shaka Hislop would come in and do his big shop on a Friday. I used to work in Safeways, and you'd have him walking in doing his big shop. And nowadays football was so much money in the game.
They've all got private chefs, haven't they? They've all got private
chefs and live in Canary Wharf and get Deliveroo. And it's that's a good.
That is relatable to me though. To be honest, I love Deliveroo. So
I always there's a slight tinge of embarrassment, because it used to say on your ticket, like with your Just Eat, whatever, how many times you've ordered from that place.
Oh, I'm glad I've never looked at that.
So it's like
that'd be bad. There's a KFC within walking distance to my house, and there was a time I got it Deliverooed, and it's probably a 4-minute walk to the KFC, and I think that's probably the lowest point of my life. It was class though.
Did the guy actually bother getting on the bike, or did you just walk it round? That's the thing. It's like, you got to track him.
It was a guy on a bike, but he did look at me. Like, I think he was expecting to see someone who maybe couldn't walk or something. And then I opened a door, and I think he was like, come on, mate. Come on.
But you still have to give him your code. That's the thing. It's the code now. That's something they always forget. And they just stand there and wait.
Yeah.
And you go, sorry, 0024. Oh, okay, thank you.
Right, I know your code now, Russ. I'll be nicking your KFCs.
Well, yeah, it might be a bit cold by the time it gets up to you, mate. I'll be honest. Mate. And in terms of now, what the players like in the current squad, which you have an affiliation for. I know for me, anyone who wears a claret and blue shirt, they've got my respect and I love them. But there's certain players I'm like, I like it when he does well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it seems almost silly to talk about Bowen just because, he's captain, scored the goal in the cup final. He's, part of the Danny Dyer dynasty.
Yeah.
He's kind of the new Mr. West Ham, really. So that just seems like it goes without saying. I love Tommy Soucek, and I think he's had a rough couple years, especially some of the fans have got on his back. I think he was being played slightly out of position for a while, and in the last season he came in, scored some really important goals. But with Tommy, you always feel like he's turning up, he's doing the work. He's staying late after training, and he loves the club. He takes it really, really seriously. He's not really someone that you ever look and think, oh, they're not really on it today,
Yeah.
Maybe he's not. Maybe he doesn't always play 10 out of 10, but it looks like he's always giving it like his max effort. So yeah, and it's just always good seeing it. The Academy of Football, it's not what it was, and we haven't had like a huge, especially from the era I was talking about earlier, the amount of players that came through. But seeing anyone come through from the youth squad, you always have a little bit of like, yes, go on, lad.
Yeah, no, I think, I genuinely believe we're on the cusp of another sort of golden era. I think we've got some good players. I mean, I do a lot of stuff with the academy, and I do the DJ at the academy as well. And you see some of those players coming through, and I think some of the guys who have gone out to Germany. There's a guy, and I'm telling you now, Erdrich Golombekis, keep that name in your back pocket. He is going to be special.
Great.
Special centre, all playing centre half. And he's only 18, and they've taken him out to Germany. And yeah, special player. But no, I think we've got a good crop. You know, you've got obviously Ollie, and you've got Freddie back, and you've got Lewis and Kalen, and I think those four you'll be seeing a lot more of in the next couple of years for sure. And I think we've got some good players coming through. But I know what you mean. So I always think academy players, because of the riches of the academy previously, it's almost like if they were on FIFA, they would get like an attribute card where they're a little bit, you know, think, oh, but they're only, how can you let that person go? Well, actually, maybe they're not as good as we think that they are, but because they are the academy, we put them up there.
A bit of pressure. Yeah. And look, there's not many instances of us letting young players go and them actually turning out to be, you know, that hasn't really happened. And in fact, you know, we've actually swept up other teams who have let. I mean, Declan Rice was at Chelsea, I think, before he came to us, wasn't he? So you know, we've picked up where other teams have dropped before. But yeah, I just always like seeing the boys coming through and get given a chance, especially at the Premier League level. Definitely.
Right. Anyway, so everyone we have on the channel, apart from Ian Bishop and Harry Redknapp, everyone apart from those two, whether it's a player, a fan, or Ian's just too nice, and Harry was too busy talking about Bobby Ferguson or something like that. They come on and do their Hammers 11. So the idea is you pick your 11, your Hammers 11. The only rule is you have to be alive to have seen them play. Otherwise, you'd have all picked the same side, probably, to be honest. Everyone would have Bobby Moore, but you know, we didn't see Bobby Moore. We saw Gary Breen. You know,
Gary Breen, God Almighty! I remember when he signed, because it had that brilliant year at the was it the Euros for Ireland?
I think so.
And Rhoda signed him, and then God Almighty, has he been on the channel before I say anything horrible about him?
No, he hasn't actually. There's a few. The only person who has refused to come on has been Marco Boogers.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, there's a story there, isn't there?
There's a story there. I will get Marco on. We are Facebook friends. I will get Marco on eventually.
Live from the caravan.
Live from the caravan, indeed. I might go. I love a caravan holiday. I might go and see if he's got a spare week in the Netherlands.
Oh, great.
Oh dear, he was having a right fuck. I can imagine that text message I'd send him and just the abuse I'd get back. But anyway, so the idea is you pick your 11. It doesn't have to be the best players. It can be players you love, cult heroes. We've had some, you know, lots of different types of players. It's really interesting, I think, when you interview some of the ex-players as well who have been there for a few years, because like we had Yoshi Benayoun on, and he was there across 2 periods of West Ham, both very different, and pretty much ignored one period of his career at West Ham and just picked all players in the other ones. So that's what we do, and it's just a bit of fun, and it's good fun. I enjoy it. So, who's in goal for the Liam 11?
I'm going to go with David James.
David James and his lovely hair.
He was, you know, it was that era. There'll be a few players from that era when I've got my first season ticket. And I always, here's the thing. I used to sit in the Dr. Martin stand, right? At the, pretty near the middle. We had pretty good seats. And being like, you know, 12, 13, 14, whatever, we'd go after and I'd run down my program, and, you know, you'd hold out your program and a pen. And some players after the game would come. David James, every single week, without fail, would come and make some time to sign some. Even if we'd lost and it'd been terrible or whatever, you know, a lot of players just heading back for the showers. He would always make the effort to come, sign a few programs, get a few quick pictures before going in. I always thought he was a class act. And I always thought he was an interesting dude. I remember he got a degree whilst he was... studying. We got a degree in criminology or something like that. Whilst he was you know, he was obviously England keeper as well, which always love having England players in the team. So David James is the keeper.
Yeah, David James. We'll keep my David James story till the end, because I'm sure I know probably one of your strikers might be, and it references a David James story when we had him on the channel. He was lovely. Okay, JMO's in goal. Goalkeeper's been in a position we've actually done all right in, bar Roberto, I'd say, over the last 15, 20 years. We haven't had many really shit goalkeepers as first team goalkeepers.
Yeah,
Voice of the
and I
Half
mean,
decent goal.
Fabianski did a really, really great job for a long time. Areola is, like some question marks maybe about certain aspects, but I think has pulled out some pretty brilliant performances. And
Yeah.
the odd save that he does, you go, that is world class.
He is a good shot stopper, and he's a good shot stopper. And I agree with Fabianski as well, and also because we bought him from like a relegated club as well.
Yeah.
It's just right. We'll put Jamie in goal. Right, we'll do a 4-4-2 because, as I said, it's the easiest. Graphic I got. Left back. Who's your left back?
I'm going to go as a mark of respect, and in lieu of a testimonial game, Aaron Cresswell.
Chris.
Who, what a loyal servant to the club. And I was so glad, actually, at the end of this season when Potter brought him in for a couple games and he was able to step up and really show that he's still can be a fantastic player and still perform the roles. I understand there's some issues with the stadium ownership or whatever, and that's why they can't have testimonial games and that sort of thing. Disappointing. And I think it's not really a thing they do as much anymore, because I think it used to be kind of like, oh, your player's retiring, so we'll all get together and give him a big payday. But the players earn so much now that I don't think he really needs that. But scored some really important goals, couple really nice free kicks, and played for the shirt. So big respect to Cress.
Yeah, and I was looking at his stats the other day with me and Tom, my brother, playing like a little game online, and it was something like 300. He's played an absolute shitload of games for us. 300 and something Premier League games. It's like ridiculous.
He's in the top 10 of like most appearances.
I think he's top 2 in the Premier. I mean, after Nobes, he's got the most Premier League appearances for us. But yeah, and obviously it's great to see him at Stoke. He's just signed for Stoke, so that'd be good. Good luck to him there and up the Potters, going from one Potter to another Potters. I didn't even think about that. Graham Potter to the Potters.
My wife is a Potter. She's a ceramicist. So Stoke is her. She says it's her club. She's never watched a game or been there or anything like that. But she says Stoke are the Potters, so they're my team.
Yes, that's a birthday present. Cresswell through in the back. Right, left back. Who's then right back?
Well, you've already referenced him in the build up to this episode, and that is Super Thomas Repka.
Did I mention? Was it Thomas Repka I mentioned? Who knows?
Oh, I loved him. Again, it was that passion, the sort of stuff you used to love, like Di Canio for, the kind of slight madness. I mean, he got 5 red cards or something, Repka for us, including maybe his debut, I think.
His debut,
And again, he was just a big, scary bastard, wasn't he? And I loved watching him, and I loved players try and come up against him and him just knock them out of the way. Really, I found him so funny when I was a kid. I just thought he was such a big, funny, scary guy.
And he's still a fucking scary guy. He ain't changed. Honestly, mate. I haven't. I don't know. He's coming down in August. He's coming over in August.
So you can do it in an in-person interview with him.
No, we're doing it online. But he's coming down. We're doing an ex-player night in Romford, in mid-April with Jimmy Walker. He's doing the hosting, and it's an evening with Thomas Repka and Julian Faubert. Wow, that is a cross culture. I'm looking for, and Thomas doesn't speak a word of the Queens or the word of the Kings.
Yeah.
So, we're going to be doing. So I'm doing the interview with him, we're doing it online, but with his wife.
Who's going to interpret?
I don't know, but yeah. So it's good. Yeah. Anyway, he is scary. He messaged me once, and he said something like, "The next message will be from my wife." You know, like when you get like the bank message, and it's like the next message is going to be from your bank. That's the next message is from my wife. And so Katerina's lovely, but Thomas still scares the shit out of me. He's got a documentary coming out in October, of which a few of us did some interviews for, and Yeah, no idea what it's going to be about. No idea. I think it's self-funded. I'll be honest.
Right, okay.
But yeah, and it'll all be in Czech. So yeah,
It's
we'll
get his
see what
wife to
happens with that.
translate.
Yeah, exactly. Just get Katerina just to sit next to me and just translate. Mrs. Blood won't wide. Right, Thomas Repka, big fan. He's right back. First centre half then.
Let's have Dix, Julian Dix.
Nice.
For what I mentioned earlier, my dad loved him, and you've got him on penalties then as well. You to literally trying to break open the back of the net by shooting it so hard. I love all those like stories about how he used to get ready for a game by going and standing in a broom cupboard and just knocking a ball about and screaming like, yeah. But him and Repka in the back four is going to put the fear of God into any forward. So the two of them teaming up, I can't imagine that their chat would be fantastic, but
no, and
they're not there for that chat.
They're not there.
Yeah,
they're not there for chat. They're just purely for business. I mean, Julian, we've had him on. He's great crack, and his warm up was sitting in a hot bath, fully clothed, with a can of Coke and a Mars bar.
I mean, it turns out I've been warming up the Julian Dix method all my life.
I'm prime. I am prime and ready for action. Sign me up, Potter. But yeah, that's what he did. Then he would go out and I remember one incident. I remember one Julian Dix. I think it was in his sort of second spell, and obviously he wasn't. His knees had gone, but he was still an amazing player. And I remember what we played Man United, and he had I think it was Cantona behind the back of him, and he was just running and the ball was in front of him, and he basically put it on his toe and then kicked it like over Cantona and ran off, and Cantona just nodded in approval. It's like, love him. Right, who's Julian going to partner then, Leo?
Some of the ground, we need to ground this back four a bit, and I'm going to go for a sturdy legend, Craig Dawson.
Oh, Ballon
Dawson himself, who again, not a flashy player, but you need that sometimes. No ego about him, but like all these players, they've always just turned up. What I loved about Dawson was that when we signed him, no one was that excited.
No,
everyone kind of went, "Oh yeah, fine, I suppose." But then after week in, week out, turning up, crunching tackles, and then scoring in Europe, and when they put Ballon Dawson on the screen because they'd seen the sign, and this cult sort of hero thing developed, and he just seemed like a really nice, normal bloke. He feels like a sort of modern football that is a bit relatable because just seems like a normal guy. And then so when he decided to move to be nearer his family, everyone was kind of like, well, you know what, mate, on you go. You've worked bloody hard, and you've pulled out some really important performances for us. So yeah, go be happy. So he always cheered me up, Dawson.
Yeah, and I think we missed that. I think we've got a little bit back. I've been watching a lot of the coverage of the boys back in pre-season, and I can see a little bit of Fulkrug being that role, being that sort of.
He's a bit of a cheeky chappy, isn't he?
Yeah, and I like it. I like it, Leo. I'm not gonna, and I think we miss it. We miss a bit of personality. Obviously, with Mikhail not being there, he was obviously a big personality, and obviously the likes of Cress and that moving on. I think Fulkrug's going to step up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him having, because I mean, I think there was he came over into a dysfunctional team really with Lopetegui in charge, and so he never really got to hit the ground running, and he had a few injuries. But I think with the pre-season, with Potter, with knowing what he's doing, with him now sort of settled and looking like he's enjoying the club and getting on with the lads, I think he could have a really good season.
Yeah, me too. He's looking really lean and hungry, and I think
this is that pre-season hope.
Told you, that's what it is. You take any crumb of the team look really together.
Yeah. He's smiling in the video. He's going to score 15 goals.
Exactly, 15 goals a season. Lucky. Although I did see the club did the announcement of the away kit. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it looks like they've all come out of the coach from Johnny Boy's outing, the Only Fools and Horses. My brother sent me it. He goes, I knew that coach from somewhere, and it looks just like that. It's so funny. Right. Midfield. Let's go. Let's go left wing.
It's got to be Payet.
Oh yeah, Mr. Payet. What a player.
Again, it's not that often that we really get these like really special, technically gifted players who can produce just magic. And Payet, I mean, there's something actually, because we only had him for such a short time and because it was so good, it's like kind of romantic, the story of it as well. And maybe if it stayed longer, he would have continued that form. Maybe it would have dropped off. But because it was short and like passionate and explosive, and it's like a relationship that was like really, it just didn't work out. But like it was really fun.
It was fun while it lasted. Yeah.
Yeah. And I always know when his birthday is because you get happy birthday Dimitri Payet and then free kick compilations all over Twitter and some of them are just absolutely beautiful. So that he'd be on the left.
Yeah, and I think with Payet, I think you're right. It's that sort of, he wasn't here long enough for it to turn shit. He just left and he just went, I'm going by, and it was like, and he went as dramatically as he turned up, and it was like, I'm gone. Okay. And Slav did that sort of whole, he's asked to leave and It's like, okay.
Yeah.
It was fun while it lasted. Who's going to be on the right hand side then?
That would be Jared.
Mr. Bowen.
We are. I feel so lucky to be living in a time where he's like a bona fide West Ham legend. He scored an 89th minute goal in a cup final.
No, perfect.
And he's club captain. Last season, he was one of the players who really did week in, week out, turn up, put in the work. He rarely has a proper off day. He's at the very least, it looks like he's always putting in max effort. And yeah, I mean, look, he's married Danny Dyer. You know what I mean? Like that. How much more West Ham can you get?
Exactly.
So when my dad would speak about growing up watching Billy Bonds and Trevor Brookin and Bobby Moore and all those, I feel like, well, now we've got a bona fide, him and Nobes are the bona fide absolute West Ham legends. Really, like Bowen would have to do something outrageous to not, which I can't, beyond a move to Spurs, I don't really know if he could sully his reputation.
No, I agree. And I think, as you said, with the family connection, he's a lifer, really, isn't he now? He might end up at Dagenham and Redbridge with Andy Carroll in 5 years' time. That's the way. If he goes, he'll go.
Well,
local.
They've been overtaken by the Qataris, so if they can afford him, they could probably get him in a couple of seasons.
Well, I mean, by then Andy could be back in the Premier League if Andy Carroll banging the goals in. That was weird, wasn't it? That was such a weird Sunday. Anyway, so we've got Bowen on the right, Payet on the left. Midfield. Who's your first midfield of the two in the middle?
Declan Rice.
Mr. Rice. Yeah.
Who, again, what a privilege to watch one of the world's best players play week in, week out at West Ham. I thought he managed the whole thing really well. I thought, we got such a massive fee for him. He could have probably run down the contract and gone on a free somewhere eventually, or he never, at least publicly, agitated for a move. There was the odd people asked him all the time, and I think he always answered it really responsibly and fairly to the fans. And I think he was just realistic. Like if we were laughing about Jeff saying, I want to win titles. And it's like, well, you're at West Ham, mate, And so Rice every now and then would say, well, I want to win stuff. I mean, he's gone to Arsenal and it hasn't worked out. But and in fact, he won something at West Ham. But regardless, I mean, I just loved watching him because he was so good at getting the ball and intercepting. I mean, which he made it look so easy all the time. But when I realised how good he was at baiting players to make passes that they couldn't, which is like such an incredible part of his game, where he'd be perfectly positioned so that a player would think, "Oh, I can get a pass in there," and then he'd intercept and nick the ball from under their feet. Like in a counter-attacking side, that is so useful, and that's why he was so good with us. And when Souček was anchored with him, the two of them together were really dynamite midfield. And yeah, so I've got a lot of respect for him. I think he may well end up captaining England one day, and even though I'm not crazy about Arsenal, I am happy to see him doing well.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And I think you're right. He did handle it very well. And again, there's not that many players who could just. I like the way when sometimes it was just going a bit shit, and he just took the ball and then just ran and just ran forward, and he almost pulled his shocks up. Right, fuck it, I'll do it. And I like that. And I think
the Kidderminster Harriers.
Yeah. Exactly, 80, whether it was 90 something, 110 minutes,
it was extra time.
Yeah, exactly. And
we're losing Kidderminster Harriers, deck. We need you.
All right, time to go. Bosh, done. I think actually we really missed that now, that drive. And last year we didn't have any of that. I think the year before we sort of okay, we got away with it. With Alvarez, and it sort of kind of worked. But last year we just looked so slow in midfield, and I think we really missed his energy.
It's one thing to have a good club captain, which we do have in Jared Bowen, but you actually, when people talk about leaders on the pitch, you actually need a couple. You need, because the pitch is a few different areas at once, and you need a few different people driving everybody on, which is why I actually quite liked it. It got some criticism, but when Fulkrug came out last year and said we were shit, like I like that. You need a few people like that, really. Ideally, you'd have 3 or 4 players who are getting everybody up for it all the time and pushing it and willing to take the risks and do the runs.
Yeah, I agree totally. Who's Rice going to partner in the middle?
Oh, Mr. West Ham, Mark Noble.
Of course.
You had the graphic ready. You knew.
Had it already. Leo. Had it already. Yeah. I mean, he's just, yeah.
I was at his first ever game against Southend. And I also managed to get tickets for his last ever game away to Brighton. So, I saw his whole career. When he first joined, I mean, he's a similar age to me, really. He would cycle to West Ham, like that was part of, people talk about that. He would cycle from Canning Town to matches, and yeah, he's classic Cockney geezer, funny bloke in the interviews. Always he was a big character on the pitch and off the pitch, and scored some beautiful goals. The goal away against Leicester. Where he hits it on the volley. Remember the commentator going, "Oh, that whistled," and it did. And I remember Declan talking about that goal. I think in an interview with Gary Neville, saying that was the best goal he's ever seen live. Yeah. And yeah, I mean that's I think any football fan in the world, whoever you support, knows that's the sort of captain you want. Really, someone who is the club, someone who grew up there, someone who loves it. Someone who's really confident and charming and everyone gets along with, and someone who cares so much. So yeah, I know he's involved director of football now. I'm glad he's still in the club. I hope he's being utilised for everything he's good at as much as possible, because he's such a positive influence at the place, I think.
From a first-hand experience, he is. It's like I said, I do the stuff at the academy and Rush Green. 9 times out of 10, I sit next to him for the academy games, and the impact he's had is immeasurable, I think, on that academy by being so integrated. I mean, Mark, one of the coaches, was telling me, he'll not Mark, no, but another Mark, his sort of senior Mark Phillips. He said sometimes Russ, he'll turn up with his boots and come and do a training session, and just like with all the kids, just be playing with all the 16s. It's like, if I was a 16-year-old and I'm playing with fucking Mark Noble, you know what I mean?
If you're a West Ham fan, I mean, obviously a lot of the kids come from all over, but there are a number there who will be hammers as well. And if you're a 16-year-old West Ham fan and bloody Mark Noble turns up to have a kickabout with you, what an amazing experience.
Well, I was trying to orchestrate it so my daughter could be the next Bowen Danny Dyer, because because Lenny, He's about a year older than Flo, and he comes with Mark to the games. So I was trying to, but they're never to get.
No,
Just
you
try.
can't. You can lead a horse to water. You know?
Exactly. Mark Noble could be her father-in-law, and he is very.
How old's your daughter that you're trying to?
13.
Yeah, okay.
Right. It's but Lenny's only 13 or 14 anyway now, so it's like
Yeah, we'll give it a few years. Give it a few
exactly.
years. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. She goes to an all-girls school, so there's no problem about getting any boys involved at this age. But yeah,
Send Thomas Repka on him.
Oh God, yeah. He'll be best man. No, he is still fucking funny. He is. We interviewed James Tompkins, and James obviously put Mark in his 11, and I'd like put up a little graphic, and I showed it Mark at the game. I was like, look, I said, look, Thompson's put you in his tie. He went, too fucking right. I made the cut. That's basically what he said.
Yeah.
I tried to edit myself there, but yeah, I was like, it was just, yeah, he's very funny, very quick-witted. Right, up front, first striker.
Well, mentioned already, for obvious reasons, Paolo Di Canio.
What a player.
Scored, at one point, arguably the best goal in Premier League history. Since then, I mean, that was a few years ago now, and there's been loads of beautiful ones since then, but the scissor kick and I mean the long cross against Chelsea as well, but both of them really amazing goals, and again just a fun character, and the fans loved him, and he's a bit mad, and he's gone off and he's done loads of mad stuff, and some a bit dodgy, a bit like Repka, a bit dodgy, but you go, well, we're West Ham, we've got a bunch of dodgy geezers, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. He's a dodgy geezer.
And that madness is what made him such an amazing player as well, and like I mentioned earlier, catching the ball and all that sort of drama and stopping the game, and it's just like I go to football, I watch football to be entertained,
yeah,
and so much of modern football is this
possession based,
possession drill. I mean, look at someone like Jack Grealish, who's gone to Man City, and he's had all this like flair and excitement kind of like drilled out of him until now he's just like football bot 3000 again. And watching Di Canio is just what an antithesis to that, just that's what it is, and you got this a bit with watching players like Kudus on a good day and stuff like that. That's what I go to watch, a bit of flair. Paquetá bloody doing flicks and stuff. I love flair, and don't get me wrong, when it's the other team, I want one of my defenders to come in and go in 2-footed and ruin their day, right? But when it's my team and they're being dramatic and showy and over the top, I think brilliant. I'm entertained. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, and I think it's what's on and off the pitch. It's that sort of. I've always said West Ham fans put their idols in two camps. So either a Billy Bonds type character or a Brooking type character. So they're either silky skills or they're hard as nails. Or very rarely is the Venn diagram cross. And I think Di Canio is one of those people who does, because he's got that craziness about him, that sort of.
You wouldn't want to upset him,
No, no, not at all. But he's got the put on and off the pitch. You talk about someone like Kudus. I've always said I'm not going to go down to the Queen's Theatre in Hornchurch in 20 years' time and see an evening with Sebastian Haller, hosted by Felipe Anderson. But I will probably go and still see Machiavelli night with Tony Cottee, and because it's the personality as well. And you're right. I think someone like Grealish, although there is talks in it, could be. Maybe
of a loan move to West Ham. Yeah. I mean, that's one. I mean, I wish not to get too into it, but despite what I said earlier, it doesn't fill me with excitement, only because we haven't had a good long loan move in a while.
And then when we do, we fall in love with them, and we keep asking them back, like Jesse Lingard. We never fall in love with a lone player. Right, okay, Di Canio, who's the last piece of this Liam puzzle?
Bobby Zamora.
Oh, Zamo.
Bobby Z. Again, he's a West Ham boy, and he scored a really important goal for us, the 2005 playoff final. And there was I remember that people used to sing when the ball hits my head and it's sitting in Rosette, it's some more. But I always said he did score a lot of good goals, and again, I like having a core of a team that are hammers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you've got him and Noble playing together, you just feel like they're here. They want to be here 100%. And he always seemed like a pretty good geezer as well, Bobby.
Yeah, funny guy. Very, very funny guy. He's actually he's currently Brighton's forward coach. Because when we signed Evan Ferguson, I saw him the week after, and I asked him about Evan Ferguson, and he was like, "Mate, he's mustard. He just don't fucking move." And it's so true. It's like, but Zamo is a top guy. And as you said, I remember I think the season we went up, he was top goal scorer in the Premier League for about 6 weeks, but no goal he scored was actually on purpose. It sort of came off his arse or rebounded onto a shoulder. Honestly, brilliant. Loved him. Love Zamo. He's part of that generation, wasn't he? He's like Zamora, you've got like Mullins, Harewood, you spoke at Etherington, Ria Coker, that sort of mid-2000s, which was a real sort of
that was when I had my season ticket. That was going. So all those players I loved. Yeah, I have fond memories of all of those players.
Yeah, top boys, and there it is. What a side!
There we go.
What a side! It's a bit like a mullet, it's party at the back, whatever, and then or like tough at the back and then party at the front. Like that.
Right. I don't know how balanced it is tactically, but
it don't matter. It don't matter. We'd be entertained.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. There'd be a couple of red cards a season. Actually, yeah, that would probably be. I think discipline would probably be our biggest issue.
Yeah, quite a few in that back four. To be honest, poor Cresswell will be there all his own. Everyone else has fucked off on suspensions. Liam, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. So, in terms of the Fringe, where are you playing? I don't know how do you play multiple places?
If there's any hammers in Scotland, you can come up to the Fringe. I'll be at Monkey Barrel Comedy is the name of the venue, and it's I'll be there every day doing a show. It's called Big Strong Boy. It's all about growing up in Dagenham, actually. So if you're an Essex relocated like myself, then you'll enjoy it. But I mean, for any hammers who are everybody else basically, the show is going on tour. And it's going to be at the Soho Theatre in November.
Brilliant.
And if you wanna check it out, have a look on YouTube. Liam Withnail live at Monkey Barrel, and that's just an hour of jokes. You can have a little peek and see if you like it. I'm sure you will.
Sure you will. And it comes with a Rusty B guarantee. It's very good. It's very good. Yes. And I will definitely get tickets for the November gig. That's for sure. Because I don't have to worry about getting a flight. Yes, man. Pleasure. And hopefully, maybe see you at London Stadium this season. We'll see.
Yep, I'll be there at some point.
Yeah, permitting. And thank you very much. As per usual, everybody, like, comment, share all that good shit. And we'll see you later. Much potato. And see you soon. Much love. Bye, peeps. Hope you enjoyed it.